All right, let's talk about something that will help you win a lot more football games, and that's eliminating lost yards with your fourth down defense. Before I start, like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Coach VInt. Let's get into this. All right, what do we mean when we talk about lost yards? I'm talking about not catching punts, not fielding the punt. This costs an average of 12 yards a kick. It changes field position for the game and gives you a longer field to score. All right. And it doesn't just affect your offense, it also affects your defense. How many times have you said, man, if we could catch this punt, why don't we catch punt? Why doesn't he catch the punt? Here's what I'm going to illustrate the field position difference. And I get a little fired up about this. All right. But on the picture on the left, let's visualize they punted to us. Our returner was at the 30-yard line. Ball was off to the side a little bit, and he ran out of the way, petered it. Everybody's yelling Peter. I watched a game the other night on Thursday night where coaches were yelling Peter when the ball was barely kicked, and they're already yelling to get away. And I asked him, why? What made you guys yell Peter so fast? Well, we don't trust our returner. All right. Well, here's why that affects you. So you're at the 25, ball lands and it rolls down, and you end up getting it at the 14, where you've just cost yourself a first down. You've given yourself less of a chance to score. Let's say you go 3 and out and you go to punt. That's that arrow. So now we punt. Well, we punt from, we're on the 15. We get a 35-yard punt. They're going to start around the 50. Picture on the right. All right, our returner was, his heels were at the 30. He caught the ball at the 26, 27. He fielded it. All right. Now we go 3 and out. We got to punt it back, but we had that good field position change. Now they're starting inside the 35. Are they going to score more if they start from the 50, or are they going to score more if they start from their own 30, 35? We all know it's easier to score with a shorter field. So because we didn't field the punt cleanly, because we let it roll, not only did we hurt our offense, but we hurt our defense. We hurt the team. All right. You've got to be able to catch kicks. Now, I've got down in the deal here, we're going to talk more about this, but down in the description, I've got a link to a special teams, editable, customizable resource with everything you need for practice, game planning, skill teaching, all that stuff. It's got video clips. It's got everything. All right. So you can click on that link. Well, why does this happen? If we all know it's important, and we all probably agree that it's better to catch kick than let it roll. All right. So how does it happen? Well, because most teams, and I'm telling you, I get to travel around and watch people practice. Most people don't practice catching kicks during the week. They practice catching kicks in pregame. That's the only time the punt returners get practice. All right. If you don't invest time in anything, you're not going to be very good at it. So what's the answer? You've got to make time. You have the same amount of time as the team that takes it seriously and practices it. Make time, invest in it, because it's going to give you a huge return on investment. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to practice technique. We're going to teach them how to catch kick. All right. Then we're going to do drill work. And that's where a coach will throw to the returner. You know, he'll get the ball up in the air to simulate a punt. He'll throw it on the ground to simulate a bouncing punt. And then we're going to work the coach kicking to him. All right, from 15, 20 yards away. It doesn't have to be a long distance, just getting him used to taking it off the foot. Then we're going to work live returns where we have an actual punter punting the ball. Now, to work on technique, the first thing we're going to do is a stationary drill. The coach is going to be 10 to 15 yards away, and he's just going to throw the ball in the air. We're teaching them eyes on the football. The coach is watching their eyes. He needs to see the bottom of that chin because they're looking up at the ball. He does not want to see their eyes come off on where it doesn't matter where the coverage is. All right. Elbows tight. We want the elbows tight to the body. The elbows should be close together. There should be about 3 inches between the elbows. All right. Next, you want to have the pinkies together. So your elbows are up against the body. All right. Not wide. We want them about 4 inches apart. We want the pinkies together. Eyes are up, and we're working on catching the football to where it's going to hit the hands. We want that ball received. So it's going to hit the hands, and then we're going to bring it into the body. Secure the football. Once we secure the football, we're going to work on transitioning. I should have put it there. Transition from catch to carry. All right. Then we tell them, make one guy miss and get vertical. You're not running around in a circle. Make one guy miss, get vertical, and then you can make a cut. All right. You also need to work on fielding the ball on a bounce or when it's bouncing, because we all know high school punters are going to be inconsistent. You're only going to get, a couple of games a year where you're going to have a really consistent punter. So we're going to start stationary. Then we're going to add some movement from defenders. And here's what I do. Most of us, we have 2 or 3 guys. We have our primary return guy, and then we might have 1 or 2 other guys that we're working in case something happens and they need to go. And then we've got our JV guys because we practiced our JV and varsity together. So I'm going to have no more than 5 or 6 guys down there. 2 guys that aren't going, when we start this drill, are going to be standing stationary about 3 to 5 yards from the returner, and they're just standing still. All we're simulating there is that there are bodies around the returner. Then we might move them a little bit closer as we get a little better. All right. So we're just starting right now stationary. The ball's coming right to them. We're working that technique. All right. Next. Now we're going to back the coach up. All right, I don't have a great picture there, but we would back the coach up 20, 25, maybe 30 yards away. And now we'll throw it. We'll start off throwing it. And then if the coach is good enough to sit there and punt the ball, we're not trying to boom it, just punt it, get it in the air so the returner starts to get used to seeing it off the foot and judging it. We're going to start off punting it to him. We're going to now have the coverage guys start off, about 10 yards back, and they're just going to walk towards the returner. We have a rule. They never get closer than 3 yards from the returner. All right. We don't want anybody we're not trying to get hurt. We're not trying to have contact. We're just trying to give that simulation of coverage guys coming down so that in a game, it's not new to him. We're going to start off kicking to him. Then we're going to kick left, and then we're going to kick right. Then we'll kick it where it's short and bouncing. Then we'll kick it high and in front of him so he's got to move up to catch it. And then we'll kick it deep to where he's got to get used to retreating to catch the kick. All right. Then after we do that, we're going to work live returns. Now we're going to go live with a punter. Now what this means is we're going to have a snapper snapping to our punter who's going to punt the ball just like it was a game. We're going to have 2 cover guys, but sometimes we'll have a 3rd cover guy to simulate pressure. So we're going to have 2 wide guys, and then we're going to have maybe a middle guy, and they're going to converge on the ball. We're going to tell them, you're not tapping off on him. You're not touching him. Once he catches the ball, you stop. And we tell the returner, once you field the football, get vertical, make one guy miss. All right, just simulate a move. And then he's going to run the ball back up to the line, give it to the coach. They're going to snap it for the next one. All right, and then the next returner is going to go. The next 2 guys will jump in to be defenders. This is not live contact. We're not doing live cover for this. All we're working is a live punt. We can work our protection against a punt block, but we're not covering. The returner's live. The coverage guys are dead. They're just, again, giving that simulation. All right. And this gives us a chance to get really confident at catching kicks. Well, how do we fit this in, Coach? This sounds great, but how do you fit it into practice? Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. I've been places where we take special teams very seriously. I've been places where it wasn't as seriously as I'd like it to be. All right. I said my piece. Head coach makes that decision, and I roll with it 100%. I'm all in. All right. But when I've been at the high school level, I've been at the college level, I've been an OC, and I've been a DC. Special teams being a point of emphasis never negatively affected our offense or defense. I'm going to say that again. Being good on special teams because we gave it some time in practice never negatively affected our offense and defense. In fact, it helped it. Why? Because what I showed you earlier, we had a shorter field, which means we could score easier on offense, and defensively, we tended to win the field position battle and make the other team have a longer field. All right. So what are we going to do? Well, let's find the time. Pre-practice. Every team in America has guys that come out and sit on the dang bench while they wait for the field to get set up. People are setting drills up, getting equipment out. Some guys dress faster than others. No, specialists, get dressed, get outside. Quarterback, centers, get dressed, get outside. Why? Because we need the centers snapping and stepping. We need the quarterbacks getting out and starting to get loose. All right. And we need the returners, the holders, and the snappers out on the field, the punters and kickers out on the field. Get out there right away and start your work. All right. We can do this for 10 minutes pre-practice. There's usually a period between when our meeting time ends, or if you don't have meetings before, you just have your school bell rings. Usually from when the school bell rings till you start stretch, there's some time. All right. Use that pre-practice time. So our specialists are going to get their work. If you want to get better at specials, what screws it up? Holders dropping the ball, snappers with a bad snap, all right, and returners that can't catch a ball, a kicker that can't make an extra point. All right. So we're going to make sure we give them time pre-practice. You can also do it post-practice. We've done post-practice because the way our setup was. We've done it where we've done it pre-practice. We've done it where we've done it both. All right. We're going to schedule special teams during practice, minimum of 10 minutes a day. Minimum. That's bare minimum. All right. But I think you need your specialist time, and then you need about 15 to 20 minutes to practice at least 2 phases every day. Plus, we're going to work punt every day, punt protection at least 5 minutes a day. All right. Doesn't necessarily mean we have a live punter, but we're going to practice our protection, and then we're going to work kickoff coverage 2 days a week because our goal is to kick off a whole lot. All right. Now, if you're not going to catch kicks, and I've watched numerous games, and I've been a part of teams where we didn't spend time emphasizing this, and we end up giving up a lot of field position. Well, if you're not going to catch kicks, then go ahead and block them. Go block kicks. Go block a lot of kicks. You might as well go block every one. Better yet, how about this? How about do both? Because if you're going to block kicks, you got to practice blocking kicks. I talk to a lot of coaches, so I'll give you a couple of things that I see. Guys yelling Peter as soon as the ball's kicked. Why? Because we don't trust our returner. We don't want to give it back because he drops it. Okay, then you better get him some confidence and practice so you believe in him, so you stop giving up all those dang yards. All right? Well, why don't you block the kick? I'm worried about a 15-yard penalty. I don't want to rough the punter. Well, let me tell you something. I've been a part of some programs that special teams is kind of an afterthought. The bare minimum is done. It's tolerated, not celebrated. All right. In those programs, if we came after a punt, we were probably going to rough the punter. If they punted us, it was either feast or famine, man. We were either catching it and something good was happening, or we weren't catching it. We were giving up yards. I mean, that was it. All right. Because we didn't practice it. I've been where special teams is taken seriously, and I've been a special teams coordinator where I worked for a head coach that took it seriously. Worked for a couple of head coaches. College level was at a place where it was taken seriously. So what did we do? We kicked extra points at the end of offensive practice every day. 5 live. Every day we went 5 live. All right. Now, we didn't have guys jumping into the kicker, but we had simulated pressure. Guys are going to take 3 hard steps on defense. We're going to try to really work our protection team. We're going to work our snapper, kicker, holder, and we're checking our operation, making sure that we're quick. We're going to work punt, like I said, punt every day. We're going to catch kicks and block kicks every day. So what we did when I worked for David Diaz was we knew that we had a lot of games where we were going to be at a talent deficiency. Special teams was a way that we could shorten the field and help ourselves out. It was a way we could create momentum plays. So what did we do? We did a little circuit, little rodeo circuit, and we worked on blocking kicks every day. All right. We got a bunch of stuff back when in Beamer Ball, Virginia Tech, and they were really big on blocking kicks. We spent a lot of time teaching technique. We would come after 2 to 3 punts, and every time, we always had someone trying to block. Even when we were running a return, we had someone or some people trying to block, and then we'd call blocks. We were going to call our block once or twice a game. So during the course of the season, we're going to call about 25. We're going to block 5 to 7 kicks a year. We were usually going to get 1 roughing penalty. Some years we didn't get any. And the reason we get a roughing penalty is it was either someone that forgot how they were coached, which it happens. We got to coach them so they don't forget. Or it was a guy that normally doesn't come free, that got free and hadn't worked it as much. So we made sure we worked everybody. But that was a trade-off. We're going to get 5 or 6 of them for the one where they're going to get to stay on the field. The second deal is we're going to be really good at catching kicks. We're going to field 100% of what we call fieldable balls. Occasionally, there's just a shank. All right. I'm going to tell you, one of the best years for our offense was we had a returner who happened to be our quarterback who could catch. I mean, he was going to field everything. He was going to fair catch a lot of balls. He was going to field everything. When you look for your returner, not everybody, just because someone's a good athlete doesn't mean they can return punts. It takes someone special to be able to catch punt. All right, a special mentality. someone who's going to take great pride in it and isn't going to be afraid, all right, is going to play with no fear, knowing that every once in a while they're going to probably get hit. Someone that's going to be confident enough that can read the ball off a foot. You know, I like to find guys that play some outfield in baseball because it's a similar type of skill, being able to read a ball off a bat as it is read it off the foot. And we're going to practice it. We've had some years where we've had guys that were really good and we're going to field a lot of kicks, but they weren't necessarily going to get big returns. Our goal is 5 yards. Once you field the return, we want 5. Get us 5 yards. All right. If you can get us 10, that's even better. Get us a first down. All right. Take 1 first down that we don't have to get for the offense. But if we can field the punt, average high school punts about 33 yards, and get 5 yards, that means if they punted from the 50, we still got pretty good field position. If they punted from their own side of the field, we're going to have real good field position. All right. If they're punting from inside the 25, we're going to have great field position. So get us 5, or what I used to tell them is get us 5 or get us 6. Get us 5 yards or get us 6 points. All right. But you got to spend time working with this stuff if you want to be good at it. The reason I say kick extra points every day, they don't matter until they do, right? High school, I've been a part of programs where it was an adventure. It was exciting. People wanted to see us kick extra points because they never knew what was going to happen. And it was great when we were beating people real bad until we played someone that was good and that 1 point mattered. The point always matters. So spend some time on it. All right. Invest time catching kicks. Invest pre and post practice time with your specialists so you can get really good at catching kicks, at snapping and holding. All right. If you do these things, you're going to win more games. I got a link again in the description. If you're interested in some great special teams resources that are going to help you win a lot of games, I wish you the best. Let's go out and win that battle of field position. Let's be better on a 4th down. Let's not treat it like an afterthought.